Support WrestleTalk!
Tell a friend. Hello and welcome to WrestleRamble. This is Luke Owen, I'm Oli Davis, and today we have a fantasy booking warfare episode for you, and we have chosen the feud of Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens. If you want to go straight to either of our pitches, click the timestamps in the video descriptions below to be taken right there, or stay here where we're going to explain the concept of fantasy booking warfare if you're new to this, and unveiling what we will be doing as the forfeit punishment for this month's challenges that we've got going on so far. So, what is fantasy booking warfare, Luke?
Fantasy booking warfare is where you, the WrestleTalk universe, let us know what scenarios within WWE, past, present, and future, that we should book. In the past, we have done Asuka's main roster debut, which a lot of people still ask for. We've done that one.
Yeah, and Broken Hardys.
Broken Hardys,
yeah.
we've also
Finn
done.
Balor Club. Have we done Balor Club? We kind of did
we
that
sort
with
of,
the
sort of
Broken
did,
Hardys,
yeah. You did it with the Broken Hardys, didn't you? And we've also done Bobby Roode's debut. After Bobby Roode had debuted, we were like, let's see if we could book it better. I think we did.
Baron Corbin's cash in.
Yes, where
Definitely did that
where
better.
you won because you made Sami Zayn champion.
It's the only way to do it. But, you know, I've had my fair share of fails, although unrightfully so. I still believe that Who won the Kurt Angle one?
You won Kurt Angle, I
feel
think.
like
Or
you
did I
won
win
it,
it?
yeah.
I won. I definitely won the Shield reunion, which was awesome.
Well, I think mine was better with the Trios Championship, of course. It's passionate. It gets passionate.
Yeah.
But what we also do throughout the month is we do predictions on the pay-per-views. So we will both see who has the better predictions once it's over, who won the more correctly predicted matches. I think people know what predictions are. I don't have to keep saying the word predictions.
I don't know, mate.
You don't know what predictions are?
No, I mean, I'm glad that you've explained it to me now. So now
I could explain it more.
Oh, okay, yeah, please do.
It's when you take an educated guess, your best educated guess, at a future result of something.
Okay, cool.
A future outcome, I should say. 'Cause it doesn't have to be just results.
Yeah, I like it.
So, we have been doing those. Of course, we had SummerSlam last month. I won overall. I had the most predictions and fantasy booking warfare collated wins.
In fact, I only won 1 week.
Yep. The month before that, however, you won.
I did win because I won the Money in the Bank lunchbox.
Which had my deep secret in, which was... I mean, you can find out for yourself by going back in the episodes. I don't want to bring that up again.
Just a quick Google search.
Yeah, and or just look at my Twitter profile picture. Yeah, I'm really ashamed of it. Having my Twitter profile picture as the screenshot from it. But yeah, now this is the rubber match, I suppose. I don't know what we're going to do for October. Hopefully it will be even bigger. WrestleTalk universe shattering. But for now, we have a forfeit for this month, you know, what we're playing for. And it is courtesy of Chop the Viking on Twitter. They tweeted me in this. And they suggested the loser has to record a cover version of a WWE theme.
Like it.
Yeah,
because we are living in a real golden age of wrestling theme tunes where it feels like virtually everyone's got a great one. And even the ones that aren't that great, you're still like, I can see the benefit in it though.
But are we living through it, though, or has it now finished? Because we did have one for about 2 years, but now all the new music, Jason Jordan, Emma, Baron Corbin, what the hell's going on?
But Jason Jordan's remarkably has come full circle now, because now they keep adding to it, and now it sounds less like farty trumpets, and now it's got like a bit of a rap to it, and it sounds a bit more mid-card.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what you want.
Well, that's what it sounds. Well, okay. Bearing in mind though, previously it sounded like a TNA knockoff. Now it sounds like a WWE mid-card theme. So you're like, oh, well, that's a good step up. We're going in the right direction here.
I don't understand the reference. I don't know what a TNA is.
Oh, sorry, a GFW knockoff.
Yeah. Okay. I get you now. I get you. Well, maybe not for long though. But that's by the by. We're rambling. That is the point of the podcast. But you got Burn It Down. Seth Rollins, that's another little tinkering.
Ooh, Kingslayer.
Or you could have had the better version. So, the way we're going to decide what theme tune you would like us to cover, of course, this is with our voices. You can play the drums.
Yes,
I'm
badly.
I'm grade 2 on keyboard.
That's really impressive. Is that impressive? No, is that rubbish?
No, you've done this before. It goes up. Like the higher the grade.
The bigger the number, the better you are. Yeah,
I think
okay.
It stops at grade 8.
Sorry, I do apologise.
Yeah, so this is
I look at it like the Premier League. No. Like the higher up the number is, or the lower rather the number is, the better you are.
But possibly look at it in terms of school years. You start off in grade 1.
But that doesn't make you rubbish.
Or it makes you...
less intelligent, maybe. Okay, yeah, maybe you learn more things.
I would hazard to guess that the grade 8er, the 8th grader, will be better.
So what you're saying is that saying that grade 2 piano is the GFW bootleg music.
Sure, yeah, that's me. I passed by playing Coldplay's Clocks and hit a drum fill in there because it was on the keyboard, not a piano. Yeah,
lovely stuff.
Like that was part of an exam. Like you got to hit the drum fill at the right time. F this. Sorry, that was kind of a swear.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
It was 3 letters off of one. I apologise. But yeah, so what we're going to do, so they have to be vocals. You can't just say cover like...
Shinsuke Nakamura's theme.
Yeah, or Dean Ambrose's music. Leather jacket, and jeans. Oh, too early. I think I could have fun with Nakamura.
Yeah.
Wow. It'll be a very awkward video of me air guitaring.
Like, you mean like Hulk Hogan's old entrance theme?
Yeah.
Or any of his WCW entrances, where he used to play the big gold belt like it was a guitar.
Well, one day maybe we'll add lyrics to things.
Yeah.
But for now, it's just to choose a WWE theme with vocals.
From past as well, past, present. Can't do future because we don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You're not prognosticators, but just past and present will be fine.
And comment those in the comment section. Where else? And if you see one you like that someone's already commented, press the thumbs up button on that comment, because then we'll pick the 5 top voted comments on this video, and then we'll put that out to a vote on a news episode next week. People can vote in the poll, and we can do it that way. So yeah.
Do you have any suggestions of songs that you'd like to see in the comments?
Okay, well, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot here, because obviously I would want a good song. I would want a glorious. I'm trying to think of. God, I'm drawing a blank now. But
I'm glad I asked.
But as a viewer, I would like to see us take on something terrible. So, who was it? Who had really, really bad entrance music? Was it Layla or was it Michelle McCool?
Oh, Michelle McCool.
Yeah.
You're not enough for me. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
so
was pretty bad.
that one, Stephanie McMahon's
I can't believe
one.
I remembered that.
Something potentially embarrassing, like I'm not like most girls, because obviously we're guys.
That is a tune, though.
That is a great song.
That is a great song.
It's a great song. Or I'm an ass man. You can watch us
It's
say.
also a great song.
Sexy Kurt.
Yeah.
But as the Shawn Michaels version. What about you?
Some of my favourite theme tunes of all time. The Big Boss Man's entrance music. I love that. Hard Times, that's a great song. Sting's old entrance music in WCW, A Man Called Sting, that was great. Chris Jericho's first WCW theme was also awesome. It was like a proper 80s power ballads song. Bit like the Canellis' theme song. So yeah, modern day, I would certainly look to something like the Canellis' Asuka's got a pretty badass theme song, and that's got lyrics to it, although I don't know what those lyrics are.
Yeah, I was trying to play it in my head. I just know the opening chords. The problem is, and we're gonna do the whole song. That entrance music is only really made for that first minute.
Oh, do you know what else?
So it's going to get quite dire in the last 2/3 of it.
Especially as well, because if you do go back into the archives of WWE music, and you do get things like, you get the Jim Johnson era, where he would only write for a walk down to the aisle and a celebration in the ring, but there still has to be that second verse, which it's always rubbish.
For the anthology release.
The Undertaker really suffered from that, because he had like Rollin'. I don't think you can't really choose songs that are like other songs. So you couldn't choose like Edge's music when he had Rob Zombie, as much as I would love that because Rob Zombie's the best. But when Undertaker, when he stopped having Rollin' and then had his own theme song, and it was, "You've done it now, gonna made a big mistake."
You're giving them the payoff already.
That's a great one though. But at the end, in that second verse, it has a line where he's like, "Always kicking asshole ass." That is
perfect.
Dreadful lyric writing.
Well, should we get on with the fantasy booking warfare challenge today?
We've got to bring up. We have to bring up crap gimmicks.
Okay.
Something we wanted.
okay.
Something we wanted to address on in the Crap Gimmick Hall of Fame, our Crap Gimmick Federation. We've had a lot of you come back to us with your crap gimmicks, and they've all been fantastic. But I did want to clarify some of the criteria that I feel that would make that makes an acceptable crap gimmick.
We're still figuring it out ourselves, so
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
not your fault, it's our fault
Absolutely.
for not outlining it properly.
Exactly. For example, A2J got in touch with me on Twitter to say, and it's quite a funny gimmick, but it doesn't work within our Crap Gimmick Hall of Fame, which is crap gimmick, guy with normal name, i.e. John Smith, and his gimmick is he's your friend who doesn't like wrestling. And he would come down to the ring and say, all of this is dumb and fake. And he moves out of the way of the people's elbow. And, for instance, when Mankind does the mandible claw, he just bites down on the hand. In a no DQ match, he goes straight for a chair or a low blow. Crap gimmick, yes, that is a very, very crap gimmick.
It's awful. Well done.
It is awful. But it would never happen as a gimmick, whereas the Fishmonger... would be a gimmick that could appear on television. I mean, they had a dentist, for God's sake. It was Kane.
Yeah, Vince McMahon wouldn't... You've got to think like Vince McMahon might go, that's great! But it would be terrible for everyone else.
Exactly. The Butcher, which was the one we had on last week's show before I hit my microphone, that was a crap gimmick that possibly could have appeared on television. That was awful until we made it better.
It got over with us.
With sausages made of bricks.
It's got to be over with Vince McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
So like it has to be actually conceivable it can happen.
He's the top brass that you've got to impress.
But it's not got to get over with us. Those are the two rules.
Because we're the booking committee.
Yeah, we cannot find any positives in your crap gimmick, and then maybe one day we'll have the first member of the crap wrestling roster. But for now, let's do some fantasy booking warfare.
So when we do Fantasy Booking Warfare, winners go first. I won last time with the Bobby Roode glorious debut, so I do get to go first this time round. And this week's topic, if you've already forgotten, is Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon. So for my starting point, we are at the current present day in WWE. So Shane McMahon has been suspended, if I double check. Yes. So Shane has been suspended indefinitely. Okay, and Vince has announced that he's coming to TV the following week. So my Fantasy Booking Warfare starts this coming Tuesday. Okay, so Vince comes to SmackDown and confirms that Shane is indeed suspended indefinitely. He says that officials should never put their hands on performers. He's a commissioner, he should be respectful for them. And an interim commissioner will be announced very soon. Backstage, Vince is leaving, he's walking back to his limo, and Chad Gable comes up to him. And Chad Gable says that he respects Vince. Of course he does. He respects Vince, but not his decision. He says that Kevin Owens provoked Shane. Shane didn't do it out of spite. Kevin Owens provoked him into doing it. Vince calmly reiterates his point about how officials should not put their hands on any of the performers and goes to walk away. And under his breath, Chad Gable goes, I mean, it's not like you never put your hands on a wrestler. Oh, crowd pop. Vince stops in his tracks, turns round, and is like, what did you say? Chad Gable, shoulders up, puff chests out, and repeats his point and says, you used to put your hands on wrestlers. And Gable says that Shane should be unsuspended and he will fight for him. Vince says, oh, it's fine. If Gable wants a fight, he'll get a fight. And walks away. Next week, Vince comes out again and announces that a new commissioner will be decided after Survivor Series. He is setting up a match where Kevin Owens will lead a team and Chad Gable will lead a team. If Gable wins, Shane can come back. If Kevin Owens wins, he gets to pick the new SmackDown commissioner. And over the next few weeks in the lead up to Survivor Series, the teams are revealed. Kevin Owens' team consists of himself, Dolph Ziggler, Aiden English, Eric Rowan, and Baza Corbin. Whereas Chad Gable's team consists of himself, Shelton Benjamin, AJ Styles, Luke Harper, and Bobby Roode. So we're at Survivor Series. It's during the match. It's a big match, big time feel. Shane McMahon's career is on the line, essentially. And during the match, Bobby Roode takes a pop-up powerbomb and lands awkwardly. And the referee pushes everyone back, pushes him away, and says he's got to get out. He's got to take him out of the ring. Stretcher job comes out. They stretcher him out. Match continues. It comes down to Gable and Owens is just beating down Gable, pop-up powerbombs, doing these moves. Gable keeps kicking out. He just won't give up. Commentators are putting this over huge. Like, Gable just will not give up. Out comes a groggy Bobby Roode, starts stumbling down to the ring. He's there to help out his team. The commentators have been so huge about how great this is that Bobby Roode has come back to help this out. And he gets onto the apron and goes for the tag. Gable walks over, goes for the tag. Bobby drops down and has a wicked smile on his face. Chad Gable, confused, turns around, pop-up powerbomb. Kevin Owens wins. Owens and Roode get into the ring and celebrate together. So we're now on SmackDown the following week after Survivor Series. Owens and Roode reveal themselves as the Glorious Prize Fighters. 2 former NXT champions who are going to dominate SmackDown. Owens says that because of people like Chris Jericho and AJ Styles, he's forgotten why he came to WWE in the first place, and that is to make money. And you make money by being a champion. But because Shane hated him, he couldn't be a champion. And if Shane came back, he'd never be a champion again. And Bobby would never be a champion because Shane doesn't believe in people like us. He says that he and Bobby should be ruling over SmackDown. And they're going to announce their new SmackDown commissioner. Time to play the game. Out comes Triple H. Triple H is the new SmackDown Live commissioner. Now this plays obviously into the Triple H Kevin Owens storyline that we sort of got last year but didn't really play up into anything. And also Triple H's praising of Bobby Roode, saying that he is the next Triple H and all this sort of stuff. So Triple H is now the new SmackDown Live commissioner. Gable and Benjamin come out and challenge them for a match. And Triple H says, yeah, that's fine. If you guys want to have a match, you can do. But it's going to be for the number 1 contendership to the tag team titles. So later on, the main event, it's Gable and Benjamin versus the Glorious Prize Fighters. And anyway, during the match... Oh, sorry, one other point. In fact, actually, that's because I've messed my notes up a little bit here. This also plays into, because imagine these backstage segments, the rivalry between Triple H and Daniel Bryan. Having to work together, the backstage skits, you'll get that. And also, Triple H has a new assistant. Oh, you didn't know? So Triple H has got his own little lackey, the Road Dogg, there taking notes. The writer playing into the fans' hatred of Road Dogg as it is, because everyone hates Road Dogg for ruining SmackDown. So anyway, the main event, it is Gable and Benjamin versus the Glorious Prize Fighters. And Gable and Benjamin win. However, Triple H comes out with a microphone and says, like, Shelton Benjamin wasn't holding the tag rope when you made that tag. That's an illegal tag. This match has to continue. And Kevin Owens wins by holding on to the tights. They win. Triple H says nothing. Obviously not. It's his boys. They're now the new number 1 contenders. And then the December pay-per-view, I don't know what it is. We'll say it's Backlash. The Glorious Prize Fighters win the Tag Team Championships. They're now the new SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. We come to the Royal Rumble. So we're now in January, the end of January, where it's, we've had all these months now of Triple H and Bobby Roode and Kevin Owens. They're calling the shots. So they're in the Royal Rumble. Owens and Roode are working together. The Glorious Prize Fighters, they're going to be the final 2. That's their plan. And then from out of nowhere, over the barricade, so you don't really see it, just through the crowd, Shane McMahon runs through the arena, jumps into the Royal Rumble, throws Kevin Owens out, gets the hell out of Dodge. And you've got Triple H running down the ringside going like, how the hell did he get in here? Absolutely furious. Kevin Owens is obviously incensed. He's been thrown out of the Royal Rumble. So SmackDown Live, the following after the Royal Rumble, and Kevin Owens is very, very unhappy. But Triple H says that he'll fix it. Him and Road Dogg, they're going to get this sorted out. They'll fix this. Later that night, Gable and Benjamin become the new number 1 contenders, again, due to Shane McMahon interference. He jumps over the barricade, helps them out, and they're now the new number 1 contenders. Triple H tries to overturn the call. He comes out to give his, no, that was interference. I'm restarting this match. But as he's saying it, his mic is cut off. And he can't. The graphic comes up on SmackDown, so the show's over. He can't restart the match now. And backstage, the final shot we see of that SmackDown Live is Daniel Bryan in the production truck telling them to cut the microphone off. So, okay, now we're at Elimination Chamber. And Triple H is there, and we have this show-long storyline of Triple H making sure that Shane McMahon does not get into this arena. And him and Daniel Bryan are going around and speaking to all the security guards saying, he is not allowed into this arena. As we got this big match between Gable and Benjamin and the Glorious Prize Fighters, Gable and Benjamin win the tag team belts because why? Shane McMahon jumped over the barricade and interfered within the match. So Triple H is furious. He's berating the security guard that clearly let him in. And Daniel Bryan's there and he shakes his head as well. As Triple H walks off, Daniel Bryan slips him the money. And then he walks off. He paid the security guard to let Shane in. So here we are now, SmackDown Live. Following the Elimination Chamber, we're in the lead up to WrestleMania now. Kevin Owens says that he wants Shane McMahon. He's fuming at Shane McMahon. He eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and now he's no longer the tag team champion. Triple H says he can't do it. I can't do this sort of thing. During a random match on SmackDown, so I'm not saying who's in the match, but during a match on SmackDown, Shane McMahon again jumps over the barricade with his new tag team champions. It's meant to make this feel very chaotic. Almost think like Scott Hall making his debut on Nitro. Just during a match, it feels unpredictable. So he comes out and he says that he wants his job back. Triple H comes out with his posse and he says that's not going to happen. What music hits? But no chance in hell. Vince McMahon returns, or Mr. McMahon I should say, returns again, and he says he's full of piss and vinegar. And he says that this has all gotten out of hand. This is not what I wanted. This is not what I asked for SmackDown Live. And this will end at WrestleMania. And it will be a 3-on-3 ladder match where the winner takes all. So in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, Kevin Owens, and this is kind of like my build for the match. So they'll probably, they'll have the usual sort of like tag matches, singles matches, this, that, and the other. But the real key to the build for this Mania match is between Kevin Owens and Shane, where they're going to be cutting promos on each other, similar to the Cena-Roman promos that we've been having recently, where they're saying shoot comments, but in a scripted format, but they're meant to feel very real, so they're cutting very deep, talking about how Shane McMahon left WWE to start all these ventures overseas that all failed, and that he's a failure, and he's only come crawling back because he had nothing left. This is his last vessel, and he's only doing this because he wants to get the power off of Triple H, and Triple H is he's the right person to be leading this company. Whereas Shane McMahon's going to be bringing up things like, you were Universal Champion, and when you were, Raw ratings were dropped. You're not a drawer as a champion. That's why I never put you in championship matches. This kind of things. They're building into like real life tensions. So we're at the Mania. It's an epic match. It's a ladder match. It's a ladder match featuring Shane McMahon of all people and Shelton Benjamin. So it's absolutely insane ladder match. Lots of high spots, all batters and brews. It's coming towards the end of it now, and Triple H motions to the back. Who should run out? Break it down. DX run down. So the Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and X-Pac all in their DX gear try to run down, and they start beating up the good guys. And then Flight of the Valkyries kicks up. And Daniel Bryan comes out, yes chants all around the arena, and he's got a steel chair, and he comes out and starts whacking people with a steel chair, chasing off the bad guys. The good guys win. Shane McMahon is commissioner of SmackDown Live once again. Now, I was going to end it there, and I may still end it there, because I do have sort of a build-up into SummerSlam, but I'm going to stop it there. Should I? Because my worry is that people are going to complain that that's not building to Shane versus Kevin Owens. What I actually built was a very different storyline. So I will finish this off. I will finish it off because otherwise I think people will complain otherwise. After WrestleMania, Owens is traded back to Raw following that night. But he's a very different Kevin Owens now. He's not the bravado Kevin Owens that he once was. He's now a very quiet, solemn man. He just wins his matches and he leaves. He doesn't ask for opportunities. He doesn't ask for title matches. He just gets booked in squash matches, comes down, pop-up powerbomb, walks out again. He's not the prize fighter anymore. So this is going on for months. We're now in the month leading up to SummerSlam. All of a sudden, he just shows up out of the crowd and starts beating up Shane McMahon. Pop-up powerbomb, beats him hither and yonder, starts tearing up SmackDown. All of a sudden, all this built-up and pent-up rage of Kevin Owens has been let loose. And it's been let loose now because we're at the 1-year anniversary where Shane screwed him out of his United States Championship win at SummerSlam 2016. And this all builds up to their eventual one-on-one match at SummerSlam. It's a good job I did that little bit on the end there.
Okay, so my fantasy booking is kind of the opposite way round, whereas you kept everything going into the feud and then booked something afterwards. I've kind of changed everything since after WrestleMania to now.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I've retconned stuff. Now, just before we start things, I'll say my aims here. Actually, no, I won't, because that kind of reveals where it's going. Okay, so cast your mind back to April. The night after, or actually 2 weeks after WrestleMania.
The Superstar Shake-Up.
With the Superstar Shake-Up. And Kevin Owens is drafted to SmackDown. But Kevin Owens was embroiled in this bitter feud against Chris Jericho. He never got a chance to have his Universal title rematch, which, unfortunately, is a contractually obliged thing. But, I don't like that booking stipulation, but the fact is it's there. Kevin Owens is owed one. So when Kevin Owens comes over to SmackDown, he goes right up to Shane and says, I'll have my Universal title shot at the next pay-per-view, please. And Shane's like, well, this is a different brand, this is a different title, and over here, we earn our championship opportunities. And Owens is like, I have earned my championship opportunity. I was the freaking champion. I'm contractually owed this. And he's like,
it.
different thing. So Shane puts him in that fatal 5-way number one contenders match, the one that Jinder loses. And it's sorry, that Jinder wins, I mean. So it's Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Jinder Mahal, and like Dolph Ziggler and Mojo Rawley. So it's like, it looks like Kevin Owens is going to win this. But Sami Zayn and him are kept apart for ages. Sami Zayn's just moved over from Raw with him. But at the end of the match, you're just like, let's go for it. And they're going at it because they intensely hate each other. And during that, Jinder gets a pin out of nowhere, 1, 2, 3. And Kevin Owens is just looking at this victorious Jinder like, oh no, what have I done? He's furious. And he goes up to Shane, of course. He's like, this was ridiculous. It was a 5-person match. I don't have to fight for the number one contendership. I am one, let alone a 5-person rather than a 1-on-1. So Shane's like, well, next up, we've got Money in the Bank coming up. He's like, oh, okay, I'll do that then. So at Money in the Bank, Owens gets kayfabe injured during the match. So he's not really injured, but he pretends that he actually is during a ladder spot near the end. And because Owens is injured, Baron Corbin wins. So that also plays out as it was, but the Owens stuff is slightly different. And of course, KO is now not only furious, he's not got his number one contenders rematch that he's entitled to. Shane put him in a really dangerous match to earn it. And like now Owens is like, he's against me, this guy. While he's out, so he's just off TV for about a month or so, just to keep things nice and fresh and new characters. He goes to interview babyface wrestlers who've also been screwed by McMahons. So Stone Cold Steve Austin, CM Punk. Thing is, that would make Owens look like a bit of a babyface. So he doesn't interview CM Punk. He interviews CM Junk. He interviews lukewarm Steve Austin. And he's just there. He's interviewing him. He builds it up as CM Punk, but it cuts to like an impersonator or something. And Owens effectively says, like, each interview ends with, yeah, but you deserve to be screwed. And, he riles on these fan favourites, making him, he's the heel. And then Owens goes, I did not deserve to be screwed. That's why we're different here. I can't learn anything from you. So you have those little, I think that'd be nice little promo bits and skits. So when he comes back, Shane's like, okay, you can have a match for the US title at SummerSlam, because you are a valued talent and you should get something for the automatic rematch clause. And Owens is like, you're not getting this. I want a shot at the main title, but whatever. I'll beat AJ and then I'll beat Jinder for the WWE Championship as well afterwards. I'll be a dual champion. How you like that? So it's AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens at SummerSlam. This is their first encounter. We don't have to sit through all of that refereeing rubbish. And, if they were just told to go out there and have a great match at SummerSlam, rather than this 4-match feud that got worse with every encounter, I think they could have a corker. Anyway, there's a ref bump near the end, and Kevin Owens, gets the US title belt. Hits AJ with it, knocks him out. Referee makes the 3 count when he comes to. Kevin Owens wins the US title. Shane McMahon walks out. No. We're not having that here. Kevin Owens, you're not allowed to use the belt. Restart the match. This is a SmackDown match. We don't let championships change hands like that. And Owens is just screaming at Shane at the top of up the entrance ramp. And he turns round straight into a phenomenal forearm. AJ pins him and retains. On the post-SummerSlam episode of SmackDown, Owens is furious at Shane. So McMahon's like, okay, you're in the number one contenders match for the WWE title. It's Nakamura, Orton, AJ, and you. It's a fatal 4-way next week. So next week, it's a big deal because it's being sort of built up as the next chapter in SmackDown. Because we've had SummerSlam, that was the end of one. Now we're building the next chapter. So Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan are at ringside for this match, doing a bit of commentary. And for the end of the match, KO puts AJ through the announcer's table outside. And then he sees the US title from AJ's, and he picks it up. Bryan on commentary is like, Shane, he's got the belt. McMahon puts off his headset, goes and just grabs the belt and says, you're not using this, Owens. And Owens, they're just like having a bit of a tugging match. Meanwhile, in the ring, because I love KO finishes, Nakamura just hits Randy Orton with a knee. Not a Kinshasa, just a knee. Orton falls down. The irony is Orton's been knocked out from out of nowhere, and Nakamura gets the pin. 1, 2, 3, Nakamura wins, just like how it's played out in actual life. And as it happens, because Owens doesn't even realise that's happening, because it wasn't like a big finishing move. The crowd weren't reacting that way. He's struggling with the belt, and then he looks over. He sees that he's lost his latest number 1 contenders match. Looks over at Shane and is just furious. And the commentator's like, "We've got a new number 1 contender. It's Nakamura. And what's going to happen between Shane and Owens? We're running out of time, people." Do the old WCW actually end on a cliffhanger, the height of dramatic action, rather than, 2 minutes after the dramatic action, when someone walks up a ramp holding their hand up in the air? So, find out next week what happens. Next week, the show opens with... they played what happened after we went off air last week, and it's KO screaming at McMahon. Brian gets in between them. Loads of security run down to hold Owens back, and Owens is just screaming, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you." And the commentator's like, "We'll hear from them later in the show, but tonight's main event is a tag team match between these people and these people. Doesn't matter." But when it's time for the main event, Kevin Owens walks out. He hasn't been heard from, so he missed his slot to do the previous bit where he has a one-on-one with Shane. And he says he's calling out Shane in the ring for this when the main event's meant to take place. Referee walks down off mic, is like, "This is a match. We can't do this now." And Owens just looks at him and says in the mic, "You'll do." And he picks him up and delivers a package pile driver. His old finisher from Ring of Honor. And the announcers are going mad. And the referee's just lying there. You don't see a pile driver that often at all in WWE. I think the last one I saw was John Cena and CM Punk on Raw. And it's like he's dead. Like, everyone is reacting like Owens has just killed a referee. And then KO just picks him up again and holds him in position. So he's got him between his legs. And he's shouting, "I can do this all night." And it cuts backstage. And Shane McMahon is walking to Gorilla. Loads of people are trying to stop him. Like, this is what he wants you to do. Then Brian stands in front of him and effectively does the promo we did on SmackDown on Tuesday. And he says, "You can't get physical with him. You're the commissioner of SmackDown. Just send down security." And Shane McMahon, all noble-like, says, "I am the commissioner. And that's why that referee's health is on my responsibility." So Shane walks out there. KO throws aside the ref and taunts Shane. Loads of medical personnel run down to the referee. And he does the kids line. It's kind of like the promo exchange they had on SmackDown. McMahon says, "Don't do that. Don't bring up my kids." KO says, I'm sorry, I won't bring kids into this. You're right, I'm a dad as well. That's why, as a dad, I can see how Vince sees you, which is just an attention-grabbing brat. I wouldn't raise my kids like Vince has raised you, Shane. You just want to keep impressing your dad. Effectively a bit more cutting version of what they did. Meanwhile, Brian's come out and he's begging Shane on the mic to just come to the back. The referee's being tended to. You don't need to be out there. But, Shane's caught up in this anger now. He's just waiting for a chant. He just wants to be provoked. And KO's continuing. It says, "You're all about moments, Shane. About jumping off the Titantron. About jumping off Hell in a Cell. I'll give you a moment. I'll give you your last moment. Your last big death-defying leap. Me ending your career. Maybe then your daddy will love you when you're crippled in a hospital bed." And then, ooh. And then Owens says, "And maybe, many years from now, your son will come after me and I can cripple him too." And that's the line. That's the line when Shane just goes for him, understandably. He's throwing punches and KO just covers up. And we kind of mentioned this on the WrestleRamble. I sort of said what I would have done instead. KO then starts laughing, hopefully blooded. Just a little bit of blood, so you get that lovely manic grin through some blood. Blood capsule, totally fine. And Shane stops and he realises what he's done. He's like, I've laid my hands on him. And the show ends with KO shouting that he's going to sue Shane. He's going to sue WWE for all they're worth. Brian's holding his head in his hands. Shane's mortified. Next week, Vince McMahon agrees to fire Shane and put KO in his place as acting commissioner to avoid legal suits. Now, okay, so that's just the main event that week. The week after, finally, it's the Kevin Owens show. It is the full-on Kevin Owens show. The opening montage is just all Kevin Owens clips with the SmackDown theme. The Then Now Forever is just different pictures of Kevin Owens. He's the LCD ring apron and the ring poster is Kevin Owens' face. Kevin Owens' name everywhere. And he's sitting backstage in his makeshift office, being the new commissioner. He's giving all the heels the best matches. Oh, Sami Zayn hasn't got anything to do tonight. 4-on-1 handicap match. It's just stuff like that, real heelish stuff. Does a bit of commentary, maybe some ring announcing. At one point, he's seen just talking to someone on the phone and says, yeah, it went perfectly. Plan went perfectly. Remember that for later. Everything's in place for the bigger plan. And then he promotes the next week as a big main event where he'll take on everyone because I'm Kevin Owens, I'm the commissioner, totally healing it up. Now the week after, it's still the KO show, you still get the entrance. It's too good a gimmick to not do a bit more of. Sami Zayn is buried again, and the main event, this big main event that Owens promised, is him in a gauntlet match. So KO just stands in the middle, and jobber after jobber comes out and he beats them, does a bit on the mic between each bit. Remember how Punk did in the Royal Rumble that year? And he's just destroying them. The last one, he hits that second package pile driver on. The medical staff said it like it's dead. It's a big deal again. Everyone's going crazy. And then Bryan's music hits, Ride of the Valkyries, and he says, you may be the acting commissioner, Owens, but I'm still the GM. I'm still the general manager, and I've signed the hottest free agent to a wrestler's contract, and he'll be your last opponent. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon runs down through the crowd, steal one from you, and starts beating him down like a madman, gets a chair, runs after Owens, security break them up. Next week is back to a normal SmackDown, and Vince, in crazy fashion, because Father of the Year, he says, you can have your job back, Shane, as SmackDown Commissioner, if you beat Kevin Owens at Hell in a Cell, which is the next SmackDown pay-per-view after SummerSlam. They have a contract signing. Nothing's on the line for KO. Of course, that could be one criticism here, but he's what's on the line for him is he wants to end Shane's career, and he knows he can do it in a Hell in a Cell match. I will have your last moment, Shane. Make sure your kids are watching from ringside. Mm-hmm. So you get another scuffle there. Hell in a Cell. I thought you could have a few SmackDown baby faces and Sami Zayn cheering on Shane from ringside. Not from ringside, but just from outside the cell. Just a bit of smoke and mirrors for Shane's lack of wrestling ability. And the big spot at the end is a gimmicked... maybe you can come up with a different one. The best one I could do was the gimmick spot where KO pop-up power bombs Shane through the top of the cage and has the soft landing in the ring when you what was the Foley one in 2001?
They re-gimmicked the ring.
Yeah, and then KO does a bullfrog splash through the hole he's made. That might be some WWE 2K18 stuff. So I'm happy to leave that. But the point is, it's a big moment. It's the last moment that KO ends Shane McMahon. KO wins. The epilogue the next night, Owens says it's too hectic being acting commissioner. My last action is to make myself number one contender for the WWE Championship. So he got what he wanted. Shinsuke Nakamura would have won the belt from Jinder the previous night at Hell in a Cell, or 2 nights previously. And the new commissioner of SmackDown is Triple H. Because, just as you said, and that's who he was on the phone with all those weeks ago, because that's ties in with the bit you said when Owens first won the Universal Championship. Now, you don't want to heel. Triple H would only be the commissioner. He wouldn't be around all the time and just show up every now and again. SmackDown would still... This is the important bit. SmackDown would still be a babyface show. That's very important because Bryan would be general manager. And this would build to the match they'll never do in WWE, which is Triple H versus Shane one-on-one at WrestleMania 34 because of the backstage clash and, all that MacGuffin stuff going on. That's my pitch. So that was both of our pitches. Hopefully you enjoyed them. A poll has gone up above our heads now, so you can click and vote in which one you think. And so do that. We'll give you 5 seconds. Should we do some poses for flash photography? Mm-hmm. And this isn't going to translate to an audio medium. There you go. That's your time for the poll. And now we can talk about what did you think of mine?
I really liked yours. I was a bit unsure about it at first, but it was the big reveal of the Kevin Owens show where I thought like that's a really strong story point. I really like that as well. Interesting that we both went with the Triple H angle. We probably should have said like at the start again when we talk about how we prepare for fantasy booking warfare, which is that usually we text each other 24 hours ahead of time and then write it 10 minutes before we come in.
So we both got the same amount of time.
Yeah, we both have the same amount of time, but we both don't use it wisely. But it's just I find it very interesting that that you said earlier, like we always go in completely different directions, and again we went in very different directions, but we're kind of like with peppered throughout, trying to pick up storylines. And it was funny as well when I was listening to yours, because I liked the fact that you went back to Mania and kind of retconned a couple of things post Mania. It reminded me of the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Whenever he goes into a new version of reality and then sits there and goes like, "Aah!" and like all the flashing images come in. I felt like that's what was happening to me.
Yeah.
Not I was going like, "No," but I was getting all these I was getting all these flashing images in, and I was like, "Oh my god, and Ashton Kutcher's got no legs."
I liked yours from the outset.
Yeah.
I loved the Chad Gable bit.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I didn't because I try not to speak when you're talking because I want
yeah.
you to have your whole pitch by yourself. But you said that, and I just went, "That's good." I
did the exact same thing because I try and stay silent. I managed to keep myself silent afterwards, but at one point I did go, "Oh, that's good."
Yeah, and you went for the full on. I mean, that's a long build as well. That's meaty. But I liked Shane running through the crowds, and they the inclusion of Road Dogg was very smart. I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, that came quite late in the day because I wanted to pitch him as and they would call him the writer,
and he can still go.
You know, he would be there in his suit and tie and stuff like that, not doing the "oh you didn't know" because that would just make people boo even more. Yeah, because I'd have liked to have seen corporate Road Dogg.
Yeah,
it'd be very, really interesting. Yeah, it was an addition, but it was only until I got to Mania where I suddenly thought, I've not really booked. Have I booked Kevin Owens versus Shane?
So that would be my main criticism.
Yeah, I was like, have I booked Kevin or have I booked Triple H versus Shane with some people on the outside?
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap.
Yeah, it was a little bit, and I think that is my criticism of my own booking as well. Is that I'm not sure that I stuck to the. Although on that, just to pick up on the last fantasy booking warfare that we did, a lot of people didn't vote for mine in the end. Because they said, I'm not voting for yours, is because the what you had on the thumbnail was that it was Bobby Roode's SmackDown debut, whereas I ended up booking him on Raw. And other people were like, you didn't fulfill the brief.
You still won, though.
I still won.
Won.
It would have been by a wider margin. There was those 2 votes that didn't go to my way.
You're a sore winner. That's what you're being right now. But that's all we've got time for this one. So click the videos that have just appeared over Luke's face to catch up with the latest episodes of WrestleRamble or the WrestleTalk news. Support WrestleTalk on Patreon. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. And, of course, the WrestleRamble podcast, because you get exclusive podcast content. This has been Luke Owen. I've been Oli Davis. And that was Rambling.